any event, just to go through the standing agenda, we will take it one by one. The floor is open for public comment. Seeing none and hearing none, I will declare the public comment period closed. Acceptance of the minutes. I attached the last minutes. People have a chance to look at them. Stella, you can't vote on this one because you weren't present, but everyone else was. And I will admit also, Nicole, when we had discussed, I knew we had discussed the next date. We're going back between February and March, whatever. I knew that we had done it, but I was too lazy actually to go into the minutes and look at what the answer was.
You have one job.
Because I knew that you knew. Okay? Yeah, I knew that you knew, and so, and that was true. Anyway, is there a motion to adopt the minutes?
I motion we adopt the minutes.
Frank moves. Is there a second? Mark second?
Yep.
Okay. All in favor of adoption? Okay,
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed to adoption? None. They adopted
Stella abstains.
unanimously. Okay, Nicole, we're going to turn to you for our treasurer's report and endorsement of purchase orders.
All right, so I received, now I've lost it because I had to go find the minutes again. I received from Valerie Bernier 2 reports for October and November, but I didn't receive them until December and January.
Who is Valerie Bernier?
Valerie Bernier is the person for the city of Easthampton who produces the reports for the different funds.
Okay.
And so I can tell you with confidence at this point in time, as of the end of November, we had $4,964.90 in the garden account. Okay. I have not seen any motion on payment of invoices yet. But I am confident that they will make it through. And if it has not yet been a full month since I've submitted them.
Okay, which invoices were those, Nicole?
All of the ones that I presented in the spreadsheet last time.
Okay, so when did we meet? December? Was that it?
Yeah, that was December. Let me find the spreadsheet and I can share it with you all again if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you submitted it in December or in January or what?
In January.
In January, and it's taken them a while, as we know it would, but
Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is I don't think that's going to be, I'm not going to be kept in the loop unless I go after it, and I'm waiting a little while to do that, is what I'm trying to say.
yeah.
Yeah. But
It would be nice if we could know it, so we're in good state with our creditors.
of course. Where the heck? I know I created a sheet and shared it with you last time, and I'm trying to find where it is in my drive. And instead, it's like my drive is now inundated with pictures of the cat that I just got in December.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, no, he's very photogenic, as it turns out. Okay, do I have the ability to share my screen?
Yes, I just gave you that.
Awesome. Ideal. Hang on while I fumble with technology, folks. Okay, so everyone can see this, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
There we go. There you go.
So these are the invoices that we had received for last year. So just to go over this again, this line 4, is the amount that my predecessor Laura had set up for what the city doesn't call encumbrances, but for all intents and purposes are encumbrances, meaning out of the total amount that we have, this amount was set aside for each of these particular vendors. So she set aside 450 for Flurries. For Bear Path, she set aside 600. For Easthampton Feed, 100. For Broadbook, 400. For Manchester, 200. This is the total amount of invoices that we received in line 5 for each of these individual businesses. So we got 0 invoices from Bear Path. We got a total of $9.97 from Easthampton Feed, 475 from Brook, which at the last meeting I said I was going to email them and confirm that that was the amount we owed because their invoices were faint and hard to read, and I did get a confirmation on that. And 165.28 for Manchester, which means that of all of these earmarked funds, we are $75 short for the total amount we owe Broadbrook. Not that we're $75 short of funds overall, but because of this green sheet system, when I turn in invoices, I have to turn in invoices and the green sheet and set up another green sheet to pay more invoices. The good news is we now have a really clear idea of what Broadbrook will charge us,
Right.
because the last 2 years of invoices were the same amount every time. It's like $100 to turn things on, like 100 and something to turn it off again.
So do you have the capacity to change the budgeted amount for Broadbrook to 475 for the year to come?
I have the capacity to set up the next budgeted amount to include the $75 we'll still owe and
Right.
the amount we'll owe this coming year.
Right. Well, I assume we would owe them the same amount. Is that an annual charge that they
I
make?
would say so as well, but they were also like slightly different from, like, one of them was like $100 both times. One spring and next spring it was like $100 both times, and
Yeah.
then the following fall it was slightly different. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it was like otherwise we wouldn't have 475. It would be an easily divisible by 2 number,
Mhm.
or 4 number, I should say. So something was slightly off by like $10, but I still
Yeah. I remember you talking about those invoices and there was some
right.
discrepancies. Yeah.
Right. So everyone will be paid in full except for Broadbrook is the short version.
Nicole, we're paid, we're straight with Bear Path.
I had no invoices from Bear Path.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah. It
We definitely owe them money.
was a past due from a couple years ago, right, Frank?
Yeah.
Maybe they,
I don't, and Laura gave you the folder and everything, right? So
Laura did give me the folder and she had set aside and clipped together all of the outstanding invoices for me.
weren't they the ones who gave us the compost originally?
yeah.
I wonder if they just wrote it off because we hadn't paid them. It was so long since,
I don't know, but I'm, you know what? I don't mind doing this. I'm gonna call them
great.
because they would still have that on record, right? What do you think, Nicole?
I don't know because I've never worked with them.
Yeah, I'll call them.
Yeah, just tell them we think we owe you something from 2 or 3 years ago, whatever it was. I'm sure they'll find some way to dig it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even if we didn't buy compost from them again, I don't want to leave that out.
No, I agree with you.
They're very good people and I don't want to screw them over.
Agreed.
And then as far as petty cash goes, Laura, I did send an email reminding Laura. Let me rephrase that. I sent an email to Laura after our last meeting asking when I could get that from her. She found it. She said yes. And then it kind of lay fallow. And then apparently she ran into, was it Mark or Frank? One of you two. And
I don't know. I mean, I talk to her sporadically, so.
Oh, okay. Then it jogged her memory that she never delivered that to me. So I can say that it has been delivered, and I can confirm that I have an envelope with $252 of petty cash in my
Sweet.
possession.
Gas money.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's what we'll use that for.
Yeah.
You know, we could even, I mean,
Well,
really, when we
those.
think about that, you know, because that mainly came from key money, I think, you know, key deposits over the years. We could maybe even think about having some, you know, kind of not doing the key deposit for a while if we wanted to.
Well, I guess that brings up the question about like, oh, that's a separate discussion maybe for in a few minutes. What will the policies be for this coming spring? Like, what's the state's stance on sharing the shed?
That's a good point.
Yeah, the shed.
Yeah,
Well-
they come from the governor or something? I can't
Oh,
remember.
well-
Yeah, let's put that on the agenda for March.
So Nicole, this is good. Whoa,
Oh, pizza.
let's get some pizza.
That's what we're gonna spend the key money on.
I'm looking,
Hang hang on,
Oh,
hang on.
I like that Hawaiian pizza too.
Yeah.
With bacon and the
Oh, I'm
broth. Yeah.
so sorry.
no, oh, that's okay. I was looking, Nicole, I was looking for your credit card number.
Yeah, really.
Why
I'm
did
getting
I not
hungry.
see it? I got, my phone's right here for the call in. I just was looking for that number.
Delivered to 5 different
Yeah,
places.
just call it.
All right, but I suppose I could say, please put it on the Calero account.
There you go.
No, just tell them the address. The
Which is right
delivery
next to the-
address has been
which is right
changed.
next to the Bear Path account that you might.
I
Right.
thought I was screen sharing. That's what I get for being a tab jumper.
Okay.
Well, that was fun.
Oh, that was- So I think generally speaking that, part of the reason why the, this report is because the Treasury report and endorsement of purchase orders. So it's twofold. One, I think when we need to, as in the case of that one vendor, where we actually need to budget more monies to pay the outstanding thing, in theory, the treasurer would say we need to budget an additional whatever, 75 or whatever, and we would vote to approve that,
Got it.
as well as the invoices when they become due, which we've actually already done on all these, before. So technically, I think you might want to make a request of this committee, Nicole, to place, that budgeting in, and you might know better about how much that should be. Obviously, it's got to be at least $75, but
Right. I would say based on the numbers from last year, pardon me. And obviously Manchester won't be on this year's list, but we will need perhaps an account with Abashan.
Right.
Yeah, I think we should get a PO with Albershon.
Right. So I would say at a blush that my estimation for our financial needs for the upcoming fiscal year, gardening year, however you phrase it, would be to budget, to be on the safe side, $400 for flurries. Because we don't know how much we owe Bear Path, and this $600 seems a bit arbitrary at this point. How about this? Would you, Frank, would you be willing, it's the two of you have names with hard consonants at the end, and I don't know why my brain
Oh,
conflates that.
well, and there's A's and R's too.
Yes, so it's too close.
They're
to
just
my tongue.
reversed.
Since Frank, you're planning on speaking to Bear Path to see if we owe them any outstanding,
Yes.
I would like to wait until the next meeting to propose the budget for this coming gardening year. Does that sound okay with everyone?
Yeah, I think it's a
Sure.
good idea because really we don't even usually have a meeting in February. So, in some ways, this is almost like getting ourselves organized here too.
Yeah, tying up loose ends.
I think that's a good idea because I know that 600 is, I know the order from them wouldn't have been 600. So,
Well, you'll learn more, Frank, and then I think we need to decide or at least talk about whether we would use them again for compost or if you want to go with the group that we had last year, 4 Seasons. I mean, that
yeah,
doesn't-
we could go and because that compost turned out fine.
So, yeah, if we might want to add them to the list of vendors.
If we could, because there weren't weeds in that.
Unless we want to do as I think Stephen would advocate, which is just to have people pony up cash up front.
well, it's only, we can go to any vendor, but use like the one that we just used last year, which was fine. But I think if they say, as most of these vendors will, and particularly with compost, it's understandable, cash on delivery.
Yeah,
Right,
man.
right,
And that
right,
really makes it very difficult to run the paperwork in advance of them.
right.
It does, yes, that's true. The system that exists to pay invoices like this green sheet system means that I need to submit invoices in bulk. I have to wait. And I know that's not, I mean, I can create as many green sheets per year as I need to. I haven't done that part yet because I haven't needed to yet. But that is obviously upcoming with the need to create this encumbrance for this coming gardening year. But the good news is I can make an estimated guess based on this last year's expenses, how much we need to set aside. Anything that we do not spend from this earmark fund, or earmarked to funds, does return to the larger fund, which has the like $4,000. What did I say before? I don't remember anything.
You
Yeah.
said $4,964.90.
Thank you. $964 budget goes down by only what we pay of it, not what we set aside to pay.
Right, that's right.
Right. So
But even if we were to do all that, as you were saying, get, a budget lined up, et cetera, the green sheet's done, for a vendor like who's delivering compost, they're not going to get paid on delivery. It's just because the city is actually going to be precluded from paying for anything in advance, right? So notice all that paperwork's not going to be ready, and we're going to have a city check. It just won't happen.
Yeah, I'm kind of for like
Can't
for
happen the way
compost.
that system is. It just can't.
For compost, because usually it's farms or something. I really prefer to just I like to pay on delivery idea if we can pull it off, because
I hear that. I hear that.
because
Yeah,
everything else, I mean,
last year.
everything else is businesses. They're they have their retail. They've got money coming and going and stuff. So I just think farms are a little more on the edge.
No.
And
Frank, what I was suggesting, it's not so much our preference. It's just that I'm just saying, if we find a vendor that says, well, I'm good with that, okay, I'll invoice you and you can run it through the city and I'll accept it, then that's fine. I'm just saying, I suspect we might not run into that kind of vendor, and instead we'll have a vendor who says, I'll deliver, but it's cash
Right.
delivery. That's all I'm saying. I'm not against being invoiced.
And I
we
think that,
didn't we used Barstow's one year. Were you, Mark? Do y'all remember that?
I was before my time.
Yeah, I think we used them. We were able to do a PO with them, but the compost was almost too friable. It was way too airy. It was more almost like a top cover.
Mhm.
Like if you had like a topsoil to mix in with it, it would have been awesome. But boy, they can come with a friggin' transfer truck if you want that much and dump it, man. It was a lot.
As long as they don't get stuck in the mud.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It sure was.
So
Lucky
in that, Nicole, I'm hearing what you're saying is that you're looking to do an overall budget so that you can determine how much how much the set asides are. Does that include the one that where we're $75? It's Broadbrook, right? Where we're $75 short.
yes.
You
That
don't.
would include the $75 and the anticipated charges based on last year's charges.
Okay. So do you not want to seek put it before the committee to have the ability to generate that? Or,
I'm going to propose the budget next meeting.
okay, so we'll hold off on that one.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I just want to understand. I know that you were saying for the others. I didn't know if that was for Broadbrook too.
Yeah, no, because it has to be all at once. When I create a green sheet,
Yeah.
I have to like list all of the vendors and all of the possible charges at the same time.
Oh, I see.
So
That's why you're saying involved. Okay, okay. I understand.
did you say you were going to talk to Broadbrook to figure out how much they would charge us for this year's services?
No,
Or-
Frank is going to talk to
or Frank's
Broadbrook.
gonna do it,
I
okay.
don't owe them anything.
And then and what would it cost for this year so that you can add that to the budget?
Right. Well, see that, yes, that is, so there's like multiple trains of thought happening here. One is to be able to budget a green sheet line for a vendor for compost, we need to know who that vendor will be.
Yeah, I
That
think
they're willing to be paid by the city. And then we might have to set them up to be paid by the city.
I think we're in agreement that maybe we just do a cash only on the compost. Is that everybody's opinion?
No, what I'm understanding is that we're going to find out who's available for compost vending. B,
Right.
find out if they're available, if they're willing to be paid via invoice as opposed to cash on demand.
Right.
And then we can budget for that.
Well,
Yeah.
right. And then there was the issue of the quality of the product, because if Four Seasons gives us a product that we like and the others, and they only work cash and the others will go with a charge, but they have a product we don't want, then I don't think that's what we want to go, the way we want to go.
deciding right at this moment who's going to be the vendor. We need to do footwork between now and the next meeting.
Yeah, and but it's not just a matter of who would take a charge. It's a matter of the quality of the product. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, the Bear Path stuff was good. It's just
Okay.
that we owe them money. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure we owe them money, Nicole. There's an invoice there. We didn't pay them, and I remember we owed them money. I don't know if the invoice got lost. But again, I'll call them tomorrow and I'll find out, and we'll try and get that squared away. But
Are you, Frank, are you calling the other vendors on with regard to compost, or is that another topic?
no, I'm just gonna get a hold of them tomorrow. I just want to get this Bear Path thing cleared up.
Sure.
We just really want to get these sheets all zeroed out so we can
Sure.
start fresh here.
Okay. So we can continue this discussion.
Yeah,
about-
we can talk about, we can put compost on the
Sounds good.
agenda in March. And
Sounds good.
Okay, Nicole, is there anything else with your report?
No, I have given you the total. I've told you I've gotten petty cash and we've reviewed the invoices which have been paid.
Okay, great. So is there a motion to adopt the treasurer's report? Stellar has moved.
I have moved.
She
I
moved.
make a motion that we adopt the treasurer's report.
Okay, that's a second. Okay, we have Stella's motion, your second.
Oh, right, yeah.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone in opposition? No, hearing none. Okay, treasurer's report is adopted unanimously. Thank you, Nicole.
Thank
And
you.
we'll pick up next month with those other things we talked about. Operations report. This gets us to the fundamental question about where we're gonna be in a couple of months, about in terms of operational requirements. So it's, I don't know, we were talking about the key and all that kind of stuff, but we don't know about shed operation yet. So
No, and I mean, the governor just increased capacity in restaurants and gyms.
that was for the Super Bowl.
Not quite sure why you do that with a
Super
variant
Bowl,
circulating around, but
all those bars and restaurants that are cranking on every governor to open up. So
so, but yeah, I think we just have to operate the way we've been operating until we hear anything different. And I think that way we don't set ourselves up. And plus we don't waste time planning on something we can't even implement. Because we know how to operate without all the restrictions. And I think we just, for now, we have to assume that until enough people get vaccinated, we're going to be pretty much in the same boat we're in. And I can tell you that the younger generation has been looking at a lot of anti-vaccine stuff online because they're not about it. Just the ones I've been talking to. Me, sign me up. But yeah, I think we're gonna I think we're just proceed as we've been proceeding. And remember, we have our manna from heaven wheelbarrow outside, and everybody brings their tools like we did before. I think, we'll see, because by the time we send an email out to the gardeners, we'll be probably middle of March, something like that. So, that's a month and a half away, and we'll see how things have developed.
Yeah, we could still have a thing to offer loaners to folks from the shed.
We could revisit that whole idea, and I wouldn't be opposed to that, especially early on in the season, because people are going to be turning soil and.
Yeah. We might want a deposit on that. I don't want to be too finicky, but just so we make sure we get the tools back.
Yeah.
all right,
Usually, if it's early in the season, we might. If it was later in the season, I'd be more nervous.
Okay.
But that's what for now. I think that's how we really ought to proceed. And
Yeah.
because we just don't know. I mean, it could get worse.
Right.
People,
God forbid.
but it could. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, there are infectious disease people who are saying there's a Category 5 hurricane headed our way, and it's not a real hurricane. It's a virus. with the variants that are out there. So, until we get more people vaccinated, all of it, I tell all my students, I tell my family, I tell everybody I know, you just keep your head down and keep doing what what you've been doing, and maybe even get a little more paranoid now. Yeah, it's the old military thing. The most dangerous time is in retreat. It's not.
Oh,
Yeah. So I think we should just leave it alone for now.
yeah, it makes sense.
All right, so that's the large part of our operations report at the moment. We'll pick it up. Outreach report, there's our external outreach person, that's you, Stella.
That's me. There's not
Anything to
really
report?
anything to report. No. I've been keeping an eye on the Facebook inbox, but we haven't had anybody reach out in a while. So we should probably post something when we just open up applications again to
Yes.
let people know.
Yeah, which actually brings us to the internal outreach or in-reach. But Maggie's not here, but Margie's not here for that. We are building up a waiting list, but I think we know from past experience, even if we think we have X number of folks now, I think we need to do the outreach. We need to generate that. We still end up with how many, Frank, in effect, by the end of this past season, how many vacancies would you say that we have?
Abandoned plots. Okay.
And Stella's got to be another one. So
Yeah, but Stella's wasn't abandoned, but we had.
I'm just saying that's an additional one. So
Right.
I'm just saying.
You're gonna have a new neighbor,
I think
Frank.
there was like 3 or 4, I think. And then, and again, I think before tonight ends, we definitely want to like throw together some agenda items for March. The donation plot's going to be one, pollinator plot's going to be another. And I even have ideas with the pollinator stuff. I mean, I really think we should encourage everybody to plant a little section of their garden with pollinator plants. Because if we just make one island for pollinators, they're just going to go to that island and not our plots. So I think it'd be a better idea to spread things out, maybe.
So
But yeah, I right now it was 3 or 4. I'd have to go back and look again. But I think in general things look pretty good, in terms of plots and.
well, so I guess my point, which is why I mentioned it. First of all, Stella, we thank you for your service, and we're going to figure out a handoff. So for all a variety of things, we're going to have to get back into the members, get back in touch with people, and just and hoping if we find someone who's interested, Stella, you'll do a transition with them. But in the
Yeah, for
meantime,
sure.
till we get to that point, I'm just saying that I just think we underestimate each and every year about the need of how many folks we need to have on a list. Okay, we think, oh, well, we've got everything covered, whatever, and we end up still with
Yeah.
abandoned plots and no one to take them over. So saying that, I really think I'd like to generate a posting, a public posting, Stella, fairly soon. Now that people might start to be thinking about that, and which leads to the next question I have. The most recent, I can get it up here if everyone wants to look at it, but this is the most recent version of the plot application. Unfortunately, it's in a PDF format, so it's not really editable so easily. But
Oh, I have the editable version in my Google Drive. Do you want me to share? Oh, there's no chat for me to share, but everyone here should have it.
I can take this one down and you can put yours up if you want to.
Sure, because that is editable, and we can look at it and edit it. Hang on while I look for the right thing. All right, I'm ready. You ready?
Yeah.
Yep.
Let her rip.
There it is. Editable. This is the link that was sent to me last spring. I am gonna check on my pizza real quick. Okay, still not ready.
I still didn't see that number.
We want pizza.
Stop doing so fast.
I really want my flippin' pizza, guys. All right, so this is editable. And was shared with me last year, and you can see actually here's the list of people who have access to it, as well as I do. I don't
Oh,
know.
it's on the drive. Okay.
Yeah,
I just,
it was saved to Drive. It was saved to the Easthampton Community Drive, and then shared with the Easthampton Community
Yeah.
Garden Community. Wow, I don't know. Y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
So, but this is an editable version. I should make a copy though, which can still be edited in real time by us, so that I'm not ruining anything on the drive.
um,
and-
let's make it 2021.
Yep. Okay. I'll change that. And I will title it Suggested Plot Application Update 2021 until we finalize things. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. So this is all basic information. Does anyone feel like there need to be any changes to this section right here?
I'll say no. It's because it's basic. It's
Yeah, I'd leave it alone.
it's the other stuff that,
Right. Do we want to continue to ask about special skills, resources, area of interest, etc.?
Yeah, we want to keep that.
Okay. Then we get here, which is sticky, because we're not sure what the sharing will be this year.
yeah, but worst comes to worst is that, people say, yeah, I want to do, something that involves a shed and we can't do it. We can adjust as we go on. Part of it is that our city treasurer, excuse me, our city clerk she's already gotten one person who's already made out a form. I mean, so in other words, this is when people start to contact the city.
Mhm.
So we do need to get something in the hands of our city clerk like now.
Do we want to, last year there was a volunteer coordinator. Do we want to make that an option? Do we want to list the replacements for Stella specifically?
Yeah, I think I'm email and communications.
Right, she's not, we have a volunteer coordinator who unfortunately had to give it off.
But I'm saying we could ask for another one.
You know what,
Yeah.
we create a box for one?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay.
I keep looking at this garden events coordinator. Makes it sound like we have some kind of facility where
Right.
we can do weddings and
Pizza parties,
pizza.
So,
Birthdays.
birthdays.
Stella, what is your position title, please?
I don't know, external outreach, social media. I'm
Yeah, maybe communication could be in there somehow.
yeah. Oh, one thing I did want to suggest, I don't remember the exact verbiage that's just shortly up here, is maybe putting like a check all that's interested or rank your order of interest. Because I think last year, I think it was very difficult for me, especially with things that were like one person. Well, I would have done volunteer coordination, but I also, if somebody else did that, I wanted to say that I was, also willing to do garden shed upkeep, or so maybe more explicitly telling people to check more than one thing.
Okay, so up here in this intro sentence, is that where you're suggesting that?
Yeah, like, please indicate any roles that you might be interested in taking on. The volunteer coordinator or the garden committee will assign roles after the season begins.
And then we're asking for a volunteer to be the volunteer coordinator. That's kind of funny. How about I say something like your position will be confirmed and your crew assignment emailed to you. Does that sound?
That's good.
We-
Let's make sure on the applications that people fill in their email and
Yeah.
contact info.
That's part of the intro up here.
Yeah, but if they, sometimes they'll submit an application, you only get it partially filled out. I think we had some problems with phone numbers in the last year.
Hang on. Oh, hang on 1 second. My pizza is here.
Oh,
You
Oh,
are
wait.
So jealous.
pineapple?
very, very, very cruel.
Oh,
I
I can,
haven't had dinner
I,
yet.
I can smell it.
At least you had tea, Frank.
No, I switched to beer. I had a beer.
That's what I figured. That's Frank's.
I was
beer.
drinking local from Fort Hill.
Is it good?
Yeah, they have their honey pilsner. They just put it back out. I think it's called Ministry of Mischief or something. It's a lighter beer. It's nice. It's a very nice beer. We have good breweries in town. We're very lucky.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Not eating. I'm just gonna. It's in the kitchen while I stay in the living room. Thank you. Sorry about that. All right. So I could put required information at the top of this heading. And maybe spell information correctly.
Yes, required. I like that.
Okay.
Hey, Nicole, can that just the required information? Could you center that?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful. You could underline, do you think? Or whatever
Yeah,
you want.
underline's always good. And capitalize information.
Yeah.
That's the writing center guy here.
Yeah. You ought to know.
And make it a little bit bigger.
Oh, yeah. Lovely.
Hey, can we frame it in tildes? No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Now it's clear because it's in bold. That's
Yeah.
You have to fill out after your contact.
Yes, if you want to get your garden plot.
Right. All right. So then we have a couple new additions, and I added this note next to outreach social media coordinator to show that they have to attend garden committee meetings, which brings me down to this line. Are we looking for 4 additional people?
Wouldn't hurt. What do you think, Stephen?
Well, yeah, I mean, absolutely.
Do we have roles for them?
It's to sit on be a committee member. Oh, you mean in addition to being a committee member?
I guess what I'm saying is if people are going to be on the committee,
Yeah.
because the committee meetings are open to the public, to anyone, right?
Yeah.
If people were to join the committee, are there going to be like roles for them such as this one?
Right. Do we have something for them to do? Yeah.
Yeah, see, we've identified one. I mean, there are functional roles, Nicole,
Okay.
and that's how we kind of follow from what, how we structure these meetings. So we have a treasurer, we have outreach, we have the donation garden, we have
Operations.
the secretary, we have operations. I don't know. So we do.
So,
But we probably don't need to list that on this
okay,
checklist, do you think?
So if we add new people though, what will they do?
Thank you.
Well, we could have somebody. We already had somebody who was interested in maintaining a pollinator plot, so that's not an official. How should I say it? That's not an official title or anything, but it could be. I mean, this is one of those things too. I mean, maybe what we don't do, we just don't put, maybe we don't put the number of people that we need, and just we see what the interest is.
Okay, I guess my concern is that I have two thoughts about this. I know it's difficult to get, like, I think what I've heard in feedback from previous meetings is that there is not enough folks for weeding the donation garden plots.
Yep.
Specifically.
True.
And that there is usually a confusion around who's doing what. Hopefully the volunteer coordinator would solve the who's doing what. But I'm wondering if it would be beneficial to have like an official, like, you volunteer, because I don't think it's actually on here. Like, flower bed care is on here, but donation garden
It's not on there, is it?
not on here.
Yeah, we should add that. Add
Yeah,
donation garden.
Right. And I, and if there's going to be a call for more garden committee members, are they going to take on an additional role or have a role specifically, or just volunteer to be on the garden committee, in which case we don't need to have a number of people?
Yeah, the garden, right. The garden committee is a responsibility of a commitment of at least, let's say, an hour a month for what, 8, 9, 10 months of the year, right? So it is a job in a way.
Well, I think that, I mean, I know Stella made the point that, well, what would new people do? But I mean, that shouldn't presume, well, look, let's put it this way. We went through a really quick transition last year. A whole bunch of very experienced people had to leave, and then we had the pandemic on top of everything else.
Mhm.
So it was kind of a scramble from the very outset. I didn't, my desires have not been to be secretary clerk. That's the thing. We just needed to do it. And believe me, I'm ready to retire to be just a plain old, gardener. So,
Yeah.
so I think the point is, what we can do here, Nicole, is that in that garden committee member thing, instead of saying 4 people, we can just list what the functional roles are in there.
Okay.
Okay,
Even
Yeah,
if
that's
people say I'm just good with being what I am, that's fine too. But at least people should know what it is.
That's a great.
And
Okay.
someone might say, well, I can help out doing this or that, whatever.
Yep. Okay. So I will do. I'm gonna. For the sake of consolidating a couple of.
Yeah,
things,
that looks good.
That's
Yeah.
all it is.
yeah, that's
the
good.
roles underneath it.
You're
and
good,
I'm going
Nicole.
and I'm going to list must attend
Yeah,
in committee meetings.
right.
Honestly, it might be valuable to have the volunteer coordinator also be a part of the garden committee member, because there's just so much
It's a good idea.
throughout the main part of the season.
Oh, that is without question.
Okay, great. Okay. All right, so this is now I'm gonna move. Oh, crap. Good thing that button exists. Okay, so and I remembered not to swear at the last second. I'm very proud of myself.
Oh, go ahead.
All right, so the other,
I think I was something like donation, something or other, but
right, hang on. I'm trying to finish out the roles here. So here are the potential roles.
Yeah.
Outreach/social media coordinator, treasurer, volunteer coordinator, secretary.
Yeah.
Operations,
Thank you.
and then donation garden coordinator.
yeah. Those are good.
And
course,
then
that's
what's Margie's role?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's email and communications, right? From from lower in the list.
All right. It's down there.
Where?
Third
Oh.
from the bottom.
Okay.
Well, this is actually, I mean, are we thinking of Margie? What, Margie kind of does, someone's got to figure out plot assignments and stuff like that.
Yeah, because she's
So
been
so
doing
it's not
that.
really email. It's not really email and communications. It's
Internal.
it's It is, yeah, what would be
Want to call it plot coordination or something like that?
okay,
Because that's kind of what she does.
Yep. Plot coordinator.
Oh, that's a higher pay grade. I don't know, man. The ing makes it sound more voluntary.
Yeah, I'm gonna give her a raise.
All right. So this is starting to look,
This looks good,
yeah,
Nicole.
I'm into it.
And we
Yeah.
should add a donation garden upkeep,
I would like,
right?
Okay, a crew maybe, donation.
Oh, you were
crew.
just going to try to wrap up the garden committee list
yes.
before we move on.
So I'm going to,
Yeah.
yeah. And so then in addition, I feel like there should be like a couple sentences before this. Like one is like, one option is to participate in the gardening committee. And then we have a list of like the roles. And then the other could be down here is like, or you could help with infrastructure. And so garden path maintenance, mowing, trimming, garden events. So do we know what this means? Garden events coordinator. Does
Well,
anyone-
we used,
yeah, we used to have like, kind of member events,
we did some potluck things.
Yeah.
We also had work crews on
Yeah.
Thursdays.
dinners,
Plot.
potlucks.
I'm gonna change it.
Beer parties.
I'm gonna change it for this year. 'Cause we
Yeah,
have-
we don't even,
Beer
for
party.
this year, that's kind of out.
Yeah, I'm gonna maybe you might want to spell maintenance correctly.
There we go.
All right, so garden path maintenance, mowing, trimming, donation plot maintenance, compost, garden shed, upkeep, flower bed, care, tool maintenance, and other as approved by committee, like,
Right, somebody may come with a boutique talent, who knows?
So,
might be too much info.
Nicole, we have the flower bed, but Frank, are you opposed to adding in to the, you said everyone in their own plot should have their own, I'm blanking on the,
Yeah, but the flower
Pollinator.
beds are at the
pollen,
parking
but,
area.
but we do have a pollinator's plot. Shouldn't that be in there too?
Yeah, if we're gonna do that, then we definitely should have it there.
All the plots there.
Okay,
Yeah, but the flower beds those are what's up at the parking area.
yes,
And they actually, they're gonna need a little maintenance, and they're gonna need, they need more dirt.
oh my God, I don't know how to spell maintenance.
ANC.
Nope, still got it wrong.
So long. There it is. Thank God for this.
I try not to like lean on the spell check. Like I should know how to spell things.
Oh, go ahead.
It's because it's French. This is the problem.
Oh, that is the problem, isn't it?
Maintenance.
Maintenance.
Yeah.
Do you know how, I'm gonna throw in a completely aside. Do you know how we got the silent GH in our language?
No,
It's the Dutch.
really?
They were the first ones, they had the most printing presses, and they thought the GH looked great.
By the
It's
way,
visual.
that's interesting. And I want to, since we
I
are,
had a linguist tell me that, yeah.
I want to apologize to anyone who takes any offense to my reference to the French language. I will only say it is spoken in this house too. My wife's family is Belgian. It was not meant as any kind of.
No, English.
I don't have a problem with that.
No.
No.
But I want our outside world to know.
Somebody
Okay.
said
Since
English
we're recorded.
Oh,
language
that's right.
with
Good
other
point, Stephen.
languages pockets for spare change. No, I'm the only one that thinks that's funny. Okay.
We got COVID brain today, Nicole.
So, Stephen, je m'appelle Francois.
Yeah.
Bonsoir.
Francois, yeah, that's right.
That's all I know.
How many
It-
people do you feel like need to be on pollinator plot?
Pollinator plot maintenance.
Yeah,
Maybe we should just
Like,
throw 4 on there.
yeah, just slap on 4 and see who shows up. It's gonna continue to be challenging, I'm sure, but we'll confront it.
Well,
as we need.
I'm looking at like the number of people for each thing. I think we're gonna
Yeah.
run out of bodies here.
We
So
might.
So I would like to go back up to little intro these two little intro sections for a second. So all gardeners, are we expected to or are we required to?
Good question.
Required.
Make it required, yeah.
I
because
like
think
that.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Do we want to say
Or
minimum of
we could say expected to.
no, but expected to means like, we're expecting you to bring this thing. but
Okay, if you're looking for something softer, I'm good with required. I'm good with required.
Required is
like,
good.
I expect you to pick your clothes up off the floor.
Yeah, you're right. That's a good.
Now.
Do we want to say contribute X amount of hours and give a solid number so people actually?
Yeah.
I think in the other part of this,
It's in the agreement, maybe.
the agreement, we have the hours listed.
I think I want to say it's 3, but that just could be.
I thought it was 6, but I'm not positive.
Okay, see,
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if we need to put a number on this form.
I think we should, because I think personally, I think it's good to have repetition,
Yep, I agree.
and I think
Sure.
it's good to have clear expectations outlined.
And this is their application. If they agree to all this stuff, then it's kind of I won't say a binding contract, but has some teeth to it. And we want it to. We want people
Are
to.
we gonna lawyer them up, Mark?
No, we'll bring in Stephen.
Trying to see if I can find the plot agreement from last year. in my
Yeah.
computer, but it might not be on this computer. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was 4, but it could have been 6. I don't know.
It's 4 or 6, I think.
Yeah.
I thought it was 6, but I don't know. I'm not sure.
I mean, how much labor does it take to get the job done? I guess that would be the question too. You got
Depends. I mean, you have a hot, humid, rainy summer, we're gonna need a lot of mowing done.
right. Or if you're weeding the donation garden, how often do you do that? Once a week?
At least.
Yeah,
You would hope.
you would hope.
We're expected to.
So if you have 4 people doing that, and they each put in a half an hour, well, it's gonna, it might at least 4 hours, maybe. And then at some point, Stephen, would you say, maybe we talked about this later, the whole thing of food to be donated to the community center? Do we need to kind of find some way to encourage people to maybe plan on, sharing a little bit of their bounty as the season goes on? Is there a way to be more formal about that? What do you think?
I think we need to say something explicitly at the very outset, so people understand that it's kind of a public community garden. We do donations, and we do collect produce to bring to the community center,
Right.
and that we do it through a donation garden. But I also think that we've seen it year in and year out. There's so much more that we could be bringing if people were telling us, oh, by the way, you can harvest my cucumbers, either because I'm not going to be around or I just have more, whatever. I mean, we need a more formalized way. We could just get a lot more.
I think you're right. As I looked at the gardens at the end of the year, there was still food in the field,
Oh,
that
yeah.
hadn't been harvested.
Always is.
Yeah, and that to me is a little tragic.
I'm writing some of this stuff down because we can put this stuff on the next agenda too.
Great.
So I've moved this list question about do you have any special skills to the end of this checklist. Because this other was on a different page, which is driving my brain crazy. And also I think it's a pertinent question, but I think this informs this choice.
Okay, I think that's great.
Okay. All right, and then we have are there any changes to the fees? Or any of the are there any changes to this section? This is what I'm trying to ask. Oh, it says right
Oh,
here.
4 hours.
Right.
There you go.
Or
I will put that 4 hours up here as well. Sorry, I keep jumping around. I apologize. I keep
No,
forgetting.
that's great, Nicole. You're doing a fantastic job. We good?
I don't think there's any changes.
Okay.
Okay.
Looks good.
Yeah,
And
nice
I
job.
like the fact that we can add to this as well.
Okay.
Maybe not right this second, because I personally am ready to eat dinner. And
Oh, yeah, I gotta
Wait
get
a minute,
that
I'd love
pizza.
to wrap it. We're kind of at that end anyhow.
I want you to eat that pizza.
well, the job descriptions on the next page, which I think because we added a couple new positions, we're going to need to add the descriptions for them. And we removed the garden events coordinator and added both pollinator plot and what's the other one? The donation garden weeders.
Yep.
So the job description does need to be added before we send this out.
Could you maybe use the term donation garden crew? Because I'm thinking they might do some of the planting too. They
Oh.
probably would.
Okay, that's a good point. So donation crew as opposed to maintenance.
Yeah.
All right. Garden path crew. I want to do crew instead of maintenance for all of these.
Yeah, I think that's better because pollinator plot's the same thing. They got to plant.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Or else Stephen and I'll have to do it.
I'm not doing it.
The garden shed crew, we're not sure whether or not that's even going to be a thing this year.
Right.
Or tool maintenance didn't really get off the ground last year either for the same reason.
Right.
Right.
But I think it makes sense to leave them on there because we don't know what the change.
We don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who maintains the lawnmowers, Frank? Is that you?
well, once we get it, I mean, and this year, I don't even think we need to take it up to Flurry for maintenance, to tell you the truth. I think it's fine. We don't need to change the oil. It's running fine. And that was like, if I'm not mistaken, that was like $125. One thing, so I really, other than if everybody just cleans it when they use it, it should be fine.
So
And we maintain the oil level and everything, and it's not burning oil because it's brand new, basically.
let's do this if you don't mind. Let's get back, just quickly finish that description of it so that Nicole can get to her pizza and we can.
Everyone who needs to eat can eat.
Yes, and also that we can get it. I will make a point of getting it to our city clerk because she needs it now.
Okay, so
So it's just that description at the end.
right. So what we need is descriptions for all of these different roles. But several of these are new.
So we have to give a description right now.
Yes,
Why?
because Stephen needs to give this form.
Yeah. Stephen, why do we have to have a description?
Well,
I mean, we never did it before, so that's why I'm asking.
No, we do. They're already here in the document.
this is last year's.
Oh, those down. Hey, one other thing too, Nicole, while we're on it, we down at number 5, because we had this like the garden events coordinator. I don't want to get rid of that. Don't, you know what I'd like to do is I'd like to put a parentheses, suspended temporarily due to COVID, because we need somebody who's going to coordinate work crews. Because once everything is back to quote unquote normal, having those work days, like, you know, once a month or twice a month to do like special projects that pop up.
Right.
That's something that we still want to. I'm afraid if we delete this, it may be gone forever, and I think it's an important thing to hold on to.
So it won't be gone forever because this is last year's application,
Right.
still on last year's application.
Right.
What we're doing is editing for this year.
All right. As long as we have the previous draft, then that's cool.
Previous draft.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, and I understand your concern. Like, you don't want to like lose this description entirely.
No, that's something that we would add to we would reintroduce because it's important.
Right. So for this year, I'm going to remove it. But
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
As long as everybody else is cool with it, sure.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. Oop, I forgot how to Google Doc. Okay.
Mhm.
Son of a gun. All right. So it's going to bother this. I've gotten too fine-tuny now. Garden committee members. And I'm going to briefly describe garden committee members as opposed to describing each individual position.
Okay.
And the
Sounds
already
good.
existing is garden committee members must attend committee meetings once per month between February and November. In addition to helping make decisions regarding the budget, governance, and organization of the garden, they often volunteer for jobs as the need arises.
That's
Good.
good.
Okay, so I'm gonna remove the person because we've already established up here that it's more than 4. And I'm gonna bold it. And then so you can tell that that's a heading for the stuff underneath it. Those are the rules. All right, and then garden crew, we already have a description for. Garden path crew, I should say. There's going to be a lot of jumping back and forth for a second while I make sure I have everything. My brain won't let me not be sloppy about things, which is really annoying sometimes.
Oh, we're glad you're detail oriented, Nicole.
Yeah, I feel annoyed with it right now, but I appreciate it.
Oh, well. Yeah, once you get some pizza in you, you'll feel better.
You feel so much better.
Yeah.
All right. I need you to go away. There we go. Garden path crew, trimming crew.
I think yeah.
Oh, son of a gun. Why are you not numbering for me? There we go. Mowing crew, trimming crew. What was the other crews that we've added? And what number did we add them in? Garden, mowing, trimming, donation plot. We need to create a donation plot.
Oh,
And pollinator.
Yep, one at a time. What's the description?
donation plot crew.
Mm-hmm.
Donation plot crew plants donated vegetables in the donation plot at the start of the year and weeds throughout the season.
Yeah, plant weed and harvest.
Mm.
Because that the harvesting to get ready. So if Steven's going to still drop off stuff on Monday or I'm going to help him, need somebody to put it in the coolers.
Plant, weed, and harvest items into the donation plot.
Mhm.
Well, it's just in the donation plot, right?
Okay. Do they also distribute?
What do you think, Steven? Are you still wanting to take that on, or you and I? Or
I'm happy to do it, but like I said, we still should list it. Worst is that someone says, I have an interest and we do it together. I mean, it's fine.
Okay.
People should know that we do this. So
Once weekly delivery at community center,
delivery.
something like that.
To community center.
Where's the community center?
It's on, I mean, what's the address? Or
If you just say Easthampton
Easthampton Community
say
Center.
Easthampton Community Center, and then we'll be cool. That'll be cool.
Perfect. All right.
Community center has to be capitalized. It's a proper noun.
All right. I will.
I love these writing teachers.
No, I appreciate the notes. I can always.
Hey, this is our application. It's got to be swanky.
You got it.
Son of a gun. Right now, it's just the. Why are you not tabbing? Tab over for me. No, I don't want.
No, go back up. I know this from doing the works cited page. Go to the end of Easthampton
Uh-huh.
and then hit enter. Yeah, go back. Yeah. And now hit. and now- yeah, there we go.
You got it.
All right, excellent. So we had next in the list was the Compost Crew, which we already have a description for. The Garden Shed Crew. Compost, garden shed.
Pollinator.
Flower bed pollinator.
Well, pollinator plot.
Right.
We don't want to think they have to go around pollinating things.
Hang on.
We're gonna give you a Q-tip.
Okay, let me tell you a story about a few years back. I successfully grew corn. But you know how corn, you have to grow it in large swaths because it's a wind pollinator, right?
Correct.
Right.
I was growing like 6 rows. So
Holy cow.
I had to YouTube how to hand pollinate your corn.
Yeah.
And I did it. I grew corn that year and I was like, never again.
Yeah, you have to plant it in blocks.
Yeah, like 4 rows or something like that. I grew it in Amherst. Came out pretty good.
I think I grew popcorn one year in some heirloom. It came out pretty good actually.
Till the beasts find it. Late in the season, you get all kinds of deer and other animals come in.
Yeah,
Feast on corn.
I had a problem with the worms, the caterpillars. What are they? The corn.
Corn borer.
Yeah, supposedly if you pour olive oil on the silks, it keeps them out.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
I think for the pollinator plot, it's probably plant and weed pollinator plot garden.
The idea of weeding a pollinator plot.
That's not really sensible, but so what is the pollinator plot crew doing? Just planting this year? Like what is maintenance if you aren't weeding?
Let's see. Plant and maintain the pollinator plot. That's good. And other duties as assigned. It's pretty big.
Other duties as a sign.
No. I was a joke.
Oh, okay. This is like super vague. And
That's okay.
It's all right.
all right.
Because if we say, because some of the pollinating plants are actually classified as weeds, so we
Yeah,
maybe don't
But
say
I still think that we could say weed. No,
we could.
no, plant, comma, weed, and maintain the pollinator.
Selectively weed.
Yeah, selectively we.
I'm having a grand time. All right. Let's go back up. And one more thing, pollinator plot. We already have tool maintenance, and then other, as approved by committee, has the self-light. So I think that's it for the overall descriptions.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Well done.
Very well done. Excellent.
This is a productive meeting.
I know. I thought we were just gonna kind of brainstorm some things. So this is.
So we can now we can retitle this, Nicole, so that it's actually not suggested. It's just it is. It's
Okay.
the plot application 2021.
All right. So right now I'm the only one who has access to it. So I need to email this to all of you, and then
Yeah, that would be good.
you forward it to whoever you need to. Mark,
Leonis, yeah, right there.
and I will include
Yeah, Margie is on the committee.
Margie Phillips.
Yeah,
Stella, do you want a copy? I know that you're,
for sentimental.
Oh, for posterity, why not?
For posterity.
Can get you an autographed one if you want.
Well, you might rejoin again in another year or two. Who knows?
True. Then I'll want to be able to reflect back on
Oh, yeah.
2021.
There you go.
About a year.
all right. And am I missing anyone? Oh, what's the Easthampton? Is that the East? Yeah, I'll add that one. All right. So you'll all receive a link.
It still says suggested.
I renamed it.
Oh, but
Trust me. It'll be fine. It'll be
We
fine.
trust you.
All right. Add sharing restrictions. Okay. So I would like to say this in theory will be sent out to everyone for application purposes. Is that correct?
And that's to people who were previous gardeners.
Right.
And then how does it get communicated to new gardeners? They apply and then we send them something.
Yeah. So a link to this could be posted on Facebook.
Okay. And then is there something with a city? Do we post with a city also or not?
That's a good question.
Doug, well, I think the clerk will print out hard copies.
It was
Okay.
also on the city website, I thought, last year.
Okay.
Yes,
I
and
wondered.
put on the website.
Yeah, I would need to be because nobody's gonna be picking up hard copies.
No, not now, but
Not this year.
Everyone who I'm sending this to tonight will be editors, which means you can send the link to other people or post the link to other places.
Mhm.
But I would suggest, if you know how, to make sure when you share it widely, like on Facebook, make sure that people who can access it are not editors, that they are viewers and commenters, so that they can download it, print it, copy it, fill it out, but not make changes to it before they do that. All right.
Yep.
All right, super. And so you are all editors. Bam. Use your power wisely.
Thank you. We will. We shall.
Thank you so much.
Good work, Nicole.
whoosh, jeez.
Look at that. Done and dusted.
Oh,
So, hey, Frank, what kind of beans are you growing this year?
that's like, okay.
I was trying to get this one. It actually grows. It's called a bean, but it grows underground. It like a peanut.
Oh,
They grow them in Africa and Southeast Asia.
I don't,
They're called ground beans or something like that.
you get Frank on a bean thing, it's gonna,
Yeah,
in there and done it. I'm gonna just
we're gonna
conclude,
go off a cliff here.
let's
Man.
conclude this meeting, please.
I'll send you an email, Frank. You can fill me
I
in.
will tell you all this, that if you're planning on buying seeds, do it soon.
Okay.
And I went to the feed store, I think last week. Yeah, last week, and they still didn't have seeds in, but they are ordered. There's a couple places in town that have seeds already, but there's going to be another run on seeds this year.
Definitely. That's a really good point. So anyway, there's no new donation garden report. In the last minutes, you'll see that I gave the totals for this past year. Feedback, we've heard no new gardener feedback, and with new business, it's just getting new list of new potential gardeners. Is there any other business that needs to be addressed? Hearing
No,
none.
I just tell you, my wife and I will probably clean out all the bluebird boxes because it's about that time.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
motion, I hear a second. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? None. So we are adjourned at 8:30.
Awesome.
Okay.
Well done. Well done. One and all.
We're back on in March on the 4th.
See y'all soon.
All right. Good night,
See
y'all.
y'all.
See you later,
Take care,
everybody.
Stella.
Oh, I have to stop share. Here we go. Done.
Thank you, Nicole.